Hey everyone, it's the Yellow Chili, and we're back with another episode of Let's Play Empyrion Galactic Survival. We're running the Project Eden mod, and we have just, sort of finished the basic structure of our base. And off camera, I did a couple of things. I did change these corners that I was talking about last time. I changed them to round pieces so they look a little more aligned with the windows. I also tried giving it a more somewhat natural color from the outside. I made this a brick texture, which I really like. Also changed this corner. I think that was a regular corner before, and forgot the textures here because I changed these blocks too. Inside the base, I changed the ones that were going towards the window, so this looks a little more natural, at least to me. Having sort of like a only a half block here, so this is like a really looks like a window portion of the base. Also, I added some basic stuff. I have not switched it on yet. Everything that I added here we had in our SV. I put the Wi-Fi module up here, a solar capacitor next to it, possibly with room for another one. The advanced constructor is right here, and this is probably going to be the output box. I'm going to be adding an input box later on, which will be a container controller, because I usually throw spare stuff that I don't know what to do with it in the input. And we're going to add that right in this corner here. I put down the small constructor because that is always nice if you want to make basic stuff or intermediate products for the large constructor to use. I might remove that at some point and add another large or advanced constructor here. Then over here we have the oxygen tank that I already filled. It's 98% full. There's a fan in here, which we're gonna need if we want to get this space pressurized and keep it pressurized too. That is about it. I took both the SV and the HV over here, and we're about to start running our base. I also picked up the small constructor that we can put right here, because the next step is making base defense, and this constructor cannot do that as far as I'm informed. Yeah, you go to weapons, go to base, and it displays you nothing. So this is what this constructor can do. We're going to have to do that with this constructor. The other thing we need to do in order to have power in this base, we need to place the solar panels up on the roof somewhere so they aren't obstructed. You could technically place them anywhere if you enable this connect to base. We could even probably place them over there where the trees are, but we do want them kind of close to the base because they should be covered by our base defense too. So now, after suffocating or almost suffocating in the last episode, we are now starving. So let's go to our small vessel, to the fridge, and let's have another grilled steak. So we're at 250, 350, gives us almost a little over 100 to food, so that should be fine. I already have the solar panels right here in our inventory, in the extended inventory, and I am not sure whether I really want to place them on the roof or whether I want to place them like somewhat next to the base. So what I'm thinking is I think I want to place them here. We are close to the equator, so we are going to want flat solar panels because the sun, where does it rise? Yeah, it's sort of straight up in the air. I think it rises here, it goes over this way, and then sets over there. So we really want those panels somewhere up here. Now, it is a little bit stupid that we are down in this lake area. We could also place the panels up here, which would... I'm not sure if this has an effect on the way we collect solar energy, but if we place them up here, they would have solar power far until the end of the day, so we might just do that. And we're still attaching them to the base. I like to have these with stands because it also, if we have them without stands, then they sort of disappear, like this one. This is like a high one, this is a low one, this is like a medium one. But we're gonna want to get the ones with the stands. Now let's start here, so the stand is partially out. And let's just add them to this row, sort of. And now the base should start generating power. I am, at this point, not entirely sure if I brought the small panel that was attached to the old base originally. So let's check on that. Because right now I don't want to make a new one, I just want to collect some energy. It isn't here. It's not here, it's not here. It's probably not in the HV, so yeah. So that is it for now. This is the roof. I decorated this with white tiles because this is what a lot of countries do where there's a lot of sunlight. They have roofs and even walls too, by the way, in white so that it'll reflect the sunlight, because we really don't want this place to heat up. Right now this is purely cosmetic, I'm aware of that, but since I was trying to sort of make a nice design, I added that too. Whoa, I'm standing in the bud. I also want to add a sort of slope here, because it's really not the easiest to get into this base just by jumping up. So let us access, since we have the Wi-Fi module, we can freely access the base. So let's put a block in here. And I think for now we're going to go with this sort of ramp. Or what we could do, since we have this little, this is a little uneven, we could also place 2 blocks here, which would probably also look kind of nice. I think we're going to go with that option. So let's get another concrete block here and place this here. And then here we could place a sort of slope block, so that, because I think right now walking up to this will not automatically jump us on top of it unless we're to the far right edge, I believe. Yeah. So we could either use this one and place it this way. Yeah, this is probably the best option. So now we can just walk in from outside with ease. We're going to give this a texture, which will be this one for the ground, because the one we have been using for the inside. And for the sides, we're going to take the brick texture just as before. Now, if you see something like this and you can't find the texture you're looking for, it may be because you're aiming at a wrong block. Now, if I aim at this one, I get the brick texture back. But if I aim at the constructor, it changes to this one. You can actually color or texture the constructor, but there's different textures for steel, concrete, and wood objects. So don't let the game confuse you. Always, when changing the texture in this tool, always aim at the block you want to texture, because then you will know what texture to pick. This looks a little weird here. It would be nice if we could make that fit. Whoops, didn't want to do that. Yeah, we can't apparently. See if we can do it this way. I think it looks a little better, but not entirely. So let's just leave it to that. Okay, now let's go to the P menu, to statistics, and then here you will have a display of how much you have in the battery. As before, it's generating 256 power units right now. We're already close to the end of the day, so we might want to get started on making that container controller and some base defenses. Now, we will choose the cargo box now, because we only have one box here. And we're gonna do... oh, I need to unlock these first. Right. So, as always, you have to go to the tech tree, base, and then look for the weapons, which are at the bottom end, I believe. Yeah, there's projectile turrets. There's more to unlock, but we are only level 9. Flags, rocket turrets, flags, they require level 10. We're going to go with the projectile turrets, unless we're really close to level 10. We are, in fact. I am not sure if we can make the ammunition, though. We are definitely going to add flak turrets later on, because they are just so much more efficient. But for now, we'll start with, I think, 2 regular turrets. So let's make those, and let's also make 30mm bullets, because we are gonna use the cannon turrets, not the minigun turrets. We're gonna want to shoot the drones out of the sky, and the cannon turret, in my opinion at least, does a lot better job than the minigun turrets. So let's also make some ammunition. We do need an ammo box. I think we have one in the small vessel. I may be mistaken. Do we have one in the HV? There is no ammo box here. Okay, so that is the next one that the next thing we're gonna want to make. Actually, before the ammunition even. There's two types of ammo boxes. The first one is the regular ammo box, which has a volume capacity of 4 KSU, which is far inferior to the container controller ammo, which has a volume capacity of 8 KSU. K standing for kilo, so that means it has 8,000, I don't know what SU is, but it's like the volume capacity, 8,000. This one is only 4,000 and occupies 2 blocks. So we're definitely going to want to go for the container controller ammo. And also, by the way, we're going to want to get a regular container controller. So let's make an ammo controller first for the base. This is the ammo controller. Let's make that. And then let's add some ammunition. Okay, it's time to power up the base. You can also put oxygen in here, and you can see it's working. If your base is not airtight, this will usually not move at all, and it will just not even attempt to pump oxygen in here. You can now see the temperature is exactly 22 degrees C. This is always the case when your base is airtight and fully pressurized. Now, if you go outside, you will realize that outside it's much cooler or hotter. It's only 14 degrees, and there's radiation. The base will also shield you from radiation. So, okay, this is going to take a little while. In the meantime, what could we do? We have some more stuff we need to construct. So let's get this out of the hover vessel. Let's also get some more stuff out of the small vessel, and some out of the base too. Because we're not desperately in need. Oh no, we want to keep that in there. We're gonna put this in the small constructor for now, and the small constructor can process all the basic ores. So let's make iron and copper. I was thinking it could also process cobalt, but apparently it can't. It definitely can't process saphium and magnesium. No, it can't. Okay, so let's get that out of here. We can leave the crushed stone in here. So let's get the saphium and magnesium to the cargo box, where it can be used by the advanced constructor. Okay, we have some iron in here. Let's transfer this to here. We also still have some steel plates, I believe, in the SV, some mechanical components. Let's transfer all that over here. We don't need that. We're gonna want to have this. Okay, that is it, I believe. Now, what we're gonna want to do is grab a couple of these, and I like to make small platforms for my turrets. We're definitely gonna make a turret up here that'll protect the solar panels. So we're gonna make a sort of stand for the turret. This is where the connect to base function comes in really handy, because otherwise you'd have to build all the way up here, and you really don't want to do that. And if you feel like it, you could, of course, give this a texture as well. We're gonna use the brick thing. Because why the heck not? We colored the walls of the base in brick. So let's do this too. Once you have resources in a somewhat more abundant amount, you might want to consider upgrading these blocks to reinforced concrete. But we're not going to do that for now. We're just going to give it some paint. I think we're just going to paint it in black from the top. Okay, so let's go to base. Do we have a turret? We have 2 turrets ready. So let's place these up here. One is here, that's great. And I'm thinking of putting one on the other side up on that hill, so... But we'll see. First of all, it's kind of important that we protect our base here. Yeah, I think this is kind of good. Let's do it. Okay, now, if you go back to the 1x1 block, this block does have an orientation. Although it looks the same from all different sides, you can see this sort of dotted side, which is supposed to be the bottom side. If you want to flip back to the standard orientation, you can just move these blocks to a container, move them back here, and now you'll see this dotted thing is at the bottom. You can't see that right now, but it's not visible on the left side anymore. So this is a great way to make sure, if you want to texture blocks, that they all texture the same way, and you don't have any weird transitions between the textures. Whoops. Oops, didn't want to do that either. We're going to use this black surface again for here. And we're not too vulnerable to attacks. We still have our jet that we can take up, and we can support the turrets in that way. So now we have 2 turrets set up, which is real nice. That will give us at least somewhat of a protection. And I think we're going to start collecting the buds here, because we really want to get to level 10 to add flags. Now, if you're connected to a container and you collect plants, they will always go into the container, and I don't want the buds to go in there. I want to have them on me and then put them in the fridge. So that's what I'm going to do. There's an aloe vera, I believe. Or what is this? Herbal leaves. Aloe vera is here. There's alien thorn. And just from collecting these plants, we got 93% of level 9, which is real nice. I collected that, okay. Let's see if there's anything else. If at some point you run out of oxygen, or at least, let's say, run short, you might want to consider not running like I am doing the whole time, because oxygen is something we have a lot of. But it may not be advisable if you are short on oxygen, so... We don't actually need this silicon, but since we are trying to level up and it gives us 50 XP, I believe we're just going to take it. Here's more plant fibers, and we should be at the next level any minute now. Yeah, this is also a downside of running. You will at some point run out of stamina. Here's more silicon. And I am actually surprised I haven't seen any teleropods here. Which is very sad, because apart from giving us experience, they also deliver us meat. But this is not too bad. Oh, shoot. Here you go. And we're level 10. I think we're gonna... Oh, I don't have ammunition. Alright, let's do this one instead. Suppose we can use one more. If we can hit, that is. Alright, that gives us 4 pieces of meat. 5 even. That is quite good. We can use those. Actually, we're not going to use them. We're just going to put them in the fridge for now. Oh, there's copper. That is real nice. So we just got silicon, copper. We have a lot of iron. We have steel plates, so we're not going to need that much iron. Okay, so this is the cargo box of the base. Let's put the copper and the silicon in here. And then in the fridge, we're gonna put all this. And the plant fibers also go to the base. And speaking of a fridge, that is also something we really want to make. First of all, let's place this ammo controller. I think I want to place it over here. And it'll be container controller ammo, so we can switch to base here, cargo box, put all the ammo in there. And in order to facilitate shooting Xerox troops, we will go to devices. We can use this auto group function. I discussed this before. First of all, we don't want our turrets to shoot at any predators, because that'll just waste ammunition. You can change the configuration here and then press apply to group. You can also change it individually for every turret. We're going to want to access the turret and press R so it reloads. Nothing else. That will be fine. And we're going to want to do the same thing with the other turret. So it is now reloaded and ready to fire. Otherwise it would have had to reload upon first contact. So let's turn this guy off for now. And this guy as well, because we want to conserve energy. I don't think we have too much left. No, only 12 out of 800 power units. Now, if you have no energy, your weapons won't fire at all. I was thinking of making a constructor, but I decided against it. I am probably going to make a container controller right now and 2 extensions, because this is going to be our input from now on. Now, a lot of times, the Xerox base attack. Right now it says drone base yes, overall probability is 21%, attack difficulty is 0, next attack not planned yet. That will change. It happens a lot of times when you log on to the game, when you reload the game, or when you join a server and spawn in your base. You are very likely to receive an attack in that particular moment. Now, it is very likely we're not going to see an attack in this episode, probably in the next, or maybe even in the one after the next. So, as you can see, I placed the container controller here and added these 2 container extensions over there. A container controller holds as much as a cargo box of a half size, which means of 1 block. This is a 2-sized cargo box, so it has 16,000. This container controller is now attached to these 2 extensions, which means we have 8,000, 16,000, it should be 24,000. If we open it and check, it says 24,000. So as always, we're going to sort our devices and give this a name, because this will be our input from now on. This box here will be our output, because usually stuff, for me at least, doesn't stay very long. at least not in the output. And I have a lot more stuff in the input, so I will just transfer all of this to the input container. And this box here will stay the output container. Now we just have to change our constructor. It will use input now and output as an output. So we're good with that. You can color container extensions, and you can also texture them, but there's a very limited set of textures, as you can see here. This is the only page of textures available to container controls as of now. Page 2 doesn't even exist. You see, you could potentially select these. If you select this one now and do this, it just won't do anything because the texture doesn't exist for a container controller. I think we're just going to paint them in steel because they're made of steel. And since this is our input, we're going to paint them in red. So let's do it this way. We're going to want to have the sides painted in red as well. So we're going to use this, this whole block thing. You can just click them and then all sides will be covered in this color. So that is it. We can also color the container controller itself. So now this is our input. I did this intentionally, place these 3 in a row because now we have some room up here, which will come in very handy if we want to, it's not an if, it's more like a when we want to extend this container controller. All right, so how are we doing on power? We only have 7. I am very tempted, since we don't have a fridge yet, to turn the base off at this point. Oxygen will be removed, that is fine, we have enough on hand. The base will still, if I'm not mistaken, generate a solar output. So the batteries can recharge while the base is turned off. If now, all of a sudden we get a Xerox attack, we can just turn it back on and our weapons will be ready to fire. So this is why I'm turning it off. I don't think there will be an attack, but if there is, we will be prepared for that. Alright, now the automatic door ceased to function. At least it ceased to be automatic. You can still open it manually, of course. It would be kind of bad otherwise. You'd be trapped at some point, probably. We still have some furniture in here that we really want to use. As I said before, these windows are occupying the block on the inside, so we can't place anything too close to them. We do want to make some more furniture, though. I'm thinking probably gonna put a shower and a toilet here. I'm thinking the bed could probably go in here, and then we'll have a TV, a table. I think we're gonna have a couch here too. So the couch could face. Yeah, this is actually not too bad. Let's have the couch face the window, and. In this game, furniture has only some furniture has a function. So right now, the bed has the function of skipping through the night to the next day, and the couch, if you press it, it says stamina recovery. Now I can run around here. I'm holding the shift button, and you can see stamina goes down really briefly and then recovers, as it says at the top of the screen. So if you have, at some point, a very large farm plantation thingy going on, you might want to place one of these furnitures next to it. You can just click it right before you start farming, and you can run for a lot longer. Alright. There's really not a lot we can do. Like, generally, I like being up at night for atmospheric reasons, but right now we can't do a lot. We're just going to skip through the night. This is what happens. Sun is already up in the air. We did gain some battery. We're at 37. We can turn this on right about now. Consumption is 74. Output is 202. This is really good. We do want to increase that. So I think what we're going to want to do is make at least 3 more solar panels right now, so we can increase our energy output. Let's check the base attack probability. Okay, now it says it's the next base attack will be in less than 10 days. This also happens a lot when sleeping in single player. You can't sleep in multiplayer because the bed doesn't have any function in multiplayer, which is for obvious reasons. If you just slept and someone else didn't, then there would be yeah, sort of you would be in a different time than other players, and it just doesn't work that way. So all right, solar panels are being made. By the way, the constructor has different power consumption when it's actually running. Right now we have 574 as opposed to the 70 something we had when the constructor was not running, 84. 84 is also when the constructor is on idle. So when not running, I think it is 74, I may be mistaken. And solar output steadily increases towards the middle of the day and then starts decreasing again towards sunset. Okay. Let's make the solar panel. Come on, hurry up. If you have this display where it doesn't tell you how long it takes, go closer, press it again, and then you will see it. Okay, we have 3 now. We're still connected to a container. Let's go up to the roof. And we're not connected to the container anymore, apparently. Then let's connect to output. Put this in here. And reselect the flat one with the stand. It's a little bit up in the air, but that's not too bad. And we could have made 4. We will probably make another one quite soon. You can have a maximum of 15 solar panels. It doesn't matter if they're small or large. You can just have a maximum of 15 at this point. So you might want to get larger ones because obviously they're more efficient. They're not more efficient, but they have larger a larger size, so they can generate more power. That's what I meant to say. Okay, let's check. We just added 3. Now we have a power output of 400. I can't speak anymore. 465, steadily increasing, which all adds up to the battery. I think we're going to want to get another capacitor. In case we go away for a extended leave of absence. It never hurts to have 1, 2, 3 or more capacitors in your base. We have the room, we'll just put it next to the other one. And we don't have a lot of stuff we want to build right now. I think the next thing we're going to want to start working on is the farm. But we're close to the end of the episode, and we're just going to finish this capacitor. If you liked what you have seen, then please like the video, subscribe, share it, leave comments, tell me what I can do to make you happy, or also tell me what you really liked or didn't like about the video, and I will see you in the next episode. All right, bye-bye.